Chapter 81. A leopard could not change her spots. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 81. A leopard could not change her spots regardless of how they dissed Shurjeen. It was futile. It was impossible to change the fact that Little Stone cut the orchids there and then. It was a slap on Chu Ling's fans' faces since they felt orchids symbolized Chu Ling. Eventually, a fan suddenly made a breakthrough and made a long comment about Shurjeen. I have done a lot of research. The Yao orchid is a rare flower. It used to be available locally, but people stopped cultivating it. Now, it can only be found overseas. It is considered extremely hard to come by, so we should handle it carefully. Even though it is not deemed a nationally protected plant yet, I believe one day it will. How could Little Stone cut off the Yao orchid after spending over $3 million on it? Do you know what this means? This means she does not value money or rare plants. She is a heartless girl. She wanted to get into the news by getting back at Chu Ling and was willing to accomplish it at all costs. She is just a small-time celebrity now, but she disregards money and destroys rare plants. Do you have a conscience, Little Stone? How much easy money has she made? How many things does she intend on destroying just for some hype? She tagged Little Stone's account to her post and repeatedly questioned Shurjeen's integrity for her actions. People had looked down on Little Stone once because of her scar. Now Chu Ling's fans were attempting to convince the public to take their side. The public quickly started to doubt her. A lot of people kept talking about the way Little Stone destroyed such a precious plant. Some people even tagged Little Stone and dissed her. Apologize this instant. Just because you bought it, doesn't mean you have the right to destroy such a rare flower. Countless botanists have worked hard cultivating the plant. How could you throw away their hard work? Hee hee. Ugly people just love to do strange shit. Just look at how hard Chu Ling works doing charity work to reach out to people. How could she trample the botanists' efforts so blindly? She had to admit that the fans were very good at using this information against her. Shurjeen could not help feeling impressed when they were capable of twisting the meaning behind her actions. The post about Little Stone throwing her money around and trampling the Yao orchid quickly became the hottest topic online. Hu Lai and Chu Ling really wished this post could continue trending for just a little longer so that people would forget about the embarrassment Shurjeen had caused Chu Ling. Yao Jiahong frowned as he watched this transpire. He was equally surprised when Shurjeen cut the flowers off. Even if it was her money, it was impossible for her to whitewash the fact that she had willfully spent $3 million on the flower before cutting it. He sent a text message to Shurjeen. Since you have already done it, you should apologize. We shouldn't try to hide the truth or twist it. Ha! Apologize. Are you sure? Yao Jiahong smiled sadly. Shurjeen was too green in the industry. He said solemnly. If you want to have a long career in the industry, you have to admit to your mistakes. You need ethics to last long. Shurjeen sent a smiley face emoticon. It is such an honor to have you as my talent agent. I have already posted something online. Why don't you have a look at it? Yao Jiahong was stunned. His eyelids twitched ominously. Had she already made a post on social media? Sure enough, a leopard could not change her spots and he could not trust her. Yao Jiahong frowned as he checked her social media account. He noticed that Little Stone had not only responded to the accusations, but had also reposted Chu Ling's fans' comments. She was undoubtedly bold. Chapter 82. How did you know about this? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 82. How did you know about this? Yao Jiahong felt apprehensive. Why was Shurjeen such a troublemaker? Moments later, he finally composed himself and read her post. Little Stone said in response. I applaud you for doing research, but it is equally important to do it more thoroughly. The Yao orchid needs to be cut off while it is blooming. Otherwise, it will affect its lifespan. After cutting it off during its flowering season, I expected it to bloom 3 to 5 more times. I will post updates about the Yao orchid in the future. She tagged Natural History magazine at the end of her post. Natural History magazine was the most important official group specializing in botany, so it was particularly reputable in the industry. It went to show how confident she was about her findings when she tagged Natural History magazine to her post. Yao Jiehong was stunned. He attempted to do some research about the Yao orchid. However, there was too little information about it. It was simply too rare and barely anyone had experience cultivating it. It was impossible to come up with a decent amount of information about them. Yao Jiehong could only secretly pray Shi Jin was right. He certainly hoped she would not end up eating her words. Otherwise, it would be a marketing nightmare. Sure enough, Chu Ling's fans were unable to verify the authenticity of Little Stone's claims. They started saying she was just trying to pull a fast one on them. Hee hee. I have only heard of trimming orchid leaves, but nothing about cutting their flowers off. Some people might be terrible at everything, but they always come in first at lying. Is talking big a part of Little Stone's image? Oh God! Look at all these lies. After some time, Natural History magazine finally responded. My apologies for taking so long. I needed some time to do research. Little Stone is spot on. The Yao orchid has slightly different characteristics, so it is advised to trim its flowers off during the blooming season. Also, if the Yao orchid is cultivated in the perfect environment, it can live for over 10 years. If the blooms are not cut off in time, the entire plant will rot from the flower to the leaves down to its stem. In that case, it won't survive for more than a year. This is the main reason contributing to its rarity. Chu Ling's fans went speechless the moment they saw Natural History magazine's response. Only some die-hard fanatics continued to insist Chu Ling was framed. Anyone with some brains would know that Natural History magazine was a completely neutral party, was highly revered in the industry, and a trusted source. The fan who started it quietly removed the post. She logged off her social media account and did not dare to go on reading the comments. It took Hulai a lot of effort to get the fans under control and convince them to stop arguing with Little Stone's fans. Yao Jiehong went into a brief daze before he texted Shi Jin and asked. How did you know about this? That she had failed to graduate from high school after several tries and always had bad grades. Were her grades poor because she had been wasting her time learning all these strange things? However, he did not hear back from Shi Jin. She had already gone to bed. This level of gossip was just a light drizzle to her. She had suffered more online abuse than this. Since she was a seasoned celebrity, she was undaunted by these little squabbles. Fu Shiyuan was working when he raised his head and noticed Shi Jin was asleep. Fu Shiyuan strode over to lower his head and looked at her soft flawless skin. Her skin was so fair that he could almost see the blood vessels under it. Fu Shiyuan reached his hand out and placed it on her face before he rubbed it gently. Countless images flooded his mind. His previous self-restraint collapsed and his cool eyes started to look red. He pulled his tie and swallowed some saliva as he watched her. Chapter 83. Perfect for Fu Shiyuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 83. Perfect for Fu Shiyuan. Fu Shiyuan did not do anything to her and simply quietly admired her. Shi Jin only saw Yao Jiehong's text message when she woke up the next day and replied. I randomly saw it. Yao Jiehong found this unbelievable. He had searched everywhere online and there was no such information. Also, Natural History magazine was not a one-man show. It consisted of a team of several professional botanists. Hence, it was deemed a reputable source. This was not something that could be found randomly online. How did Shi Jin know about this? However, Yao Jiehong's lips curved into a smile. His job was finally starting to get interesting. Jean put on her short-haired wig and put on her disguise for Jean. She had to visit the hospital and check on Fu Heian's recovery. Before long, she left the villa and headed straight for the hospital. Fu Heian was smiling as she chatted with the nurse. She kept looking at the hospital ward door every now and then. Why isn't Dr. C here yet? I don't know either. She doesn't work for this hospital. The nurse shook her head. Fu Heian also knew Jean did not work here. However, it did not change the fact that she had complete faith in Jean. For 2 days, Dr. Liao and Richard had been checking on her repeatedly. They kept examining Jean's work to figure out how she accomplished such a feat and kept trying to find out where she was. Fu Heian simply sent them on their way. She did not mind telling them more. The problem was, she had no idea who Jean was. Moments later, she heard gentle footsteps at the door. Fu Heian instantly felt invigorated. Is it Dr. C? Jean could hear Fu Heian's voice inside, so she did not bother knocking and went right in. I am here to examine your injury. Sure. Fu Heian's voice sounded bright and powerful like it used to be. It was clear she was recovering well. However, Jean took her hands and examined her carefully just to be safe. Fu Heian was observing Jean as well. Although she was wearing a surgical mask, she had exquisite brows and her almond-shaped eyes were bright and beautiful. She gave off a cool vibe and seemed particularly poised. Her complexion was flawless and healthy. Also, she gave off an elegant aura. Dr. C, how did you know about my injuries if you don't work in this hospital? Asked Fu Heian. My senior used to work here. I happened to be around collecting some data for him when I heard about your situation. Since I am a doctor, I had to help. Fu Heian nodded. She often heard doctors talking about professionalism, so she did not doubt Jean. Moments later, Jean was done examining her. She said softly, you are recovering well. If you keep it up and stay calm, you can probably recover fully in about a month. Brilliant. Fu Heian's eyes glinted in joy and turned a little red from the excitement. It felt more believable to hear it from her than any other doctor here. Fu Heian told the nurse to get Jean some coffee. Jean took the coffee and took off her mask. Since she had covered her scar with some makeup, her face looked flawless. Her features were exquisite and her eyes were bright. Also, she had a dainty face. She was such a beauty. She was perfect for Fu Xiuyuan. After Jean was almost done with her coffee, Fu Heian pulled her hand and asked in an unusually gentle tone, Dr. C, how old are you? Chapter 84. She isn't good enough for him. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 84. She isn't good enough for him. I'm 25. Jean deliberately told Fu Heian she was 5 years older so as not to raise any suspicion. Fu Heian smiled right away. That was perfect. She was just slightly younger than Fu Xiuyuan. Fu Heian suddenly beamed, making Jean frown as she wondered what Fu Heian was up to. Do you have a boyfriend? If you don't, can I introduce someone to you? Jean almost choked on the coffee. Jean noticed Fu Heian looking at her non-stop, but she had no idea why she was doing it. Yes, I do. Thanks for the offer though. Fu Heian was immediately disappointed, but she refused to give up and said, don't be so formal with me. You can call me by my first name. It doesn't matter even if you are dating someone. I have a little brother. Although he has a bad temper, he is a righteous man and looks just as good looking as you. I will introduce him to you and you can be friends. Jin's eyes twitched. How much did Fu Heian hate her? Why did she keep introducing other women to Fu Xiuyuan? Fu Heian noticed Jin's expression and hurriedly said, Jin, don't be upset. I have never introduced other women to my little brother. I was only doing it because you are kind and look right for each other. Fine. Fu Heian even started calling her by her first name. Does your little brother have a girlfriend? Reminded Shi Jin. Humph. The moment Shi Jin brought up the subject, Fu Heian looked annoyed. She isn't good enough for him. Shi Jin lowered her face and pretended she knew nothing. Fu Heian was worried that Shi Jin might misunderstand, so she explained, that girl doesn't like my little brother at all. She is trying to leave all the time. Also, she is meeting some other guy behind my brother's back. It is only a matter of time before they break up. Fu Heian realized she unknowingly became a gossipmonger. She felt somewhat embarrassed and hurriedly closed mouth. After Shi Jin told her how to go about taking her medication and recuperate, she bade farewell to Fu Heian. Can you give me your contact number so that I can, just as Fu Heian was about to say, introduce her little brother, she swallowed her words and said, so that I can ask you about my condition. This made sense. Shi Jin happened to have a secondary WeChat account, so she activated it and shared it with Fu Heian. Big Sis has added you as a friend. After Fu Heian added Shi Jin to her WeChat, Shi Jin touched her forehead when she saw the notification. She quickly accepted the invitation and added Fu Heian to her WeChat account. A long time after she left, Fu Heian continued to happily think about matchmaking her with Fu Xiuyuan. The nurse had never seen Fu Heian smile so brightly for a long time, so she said, Miss Fu, you seem to be in a rather good mood. I recall you have a kid. Which kindergarten is better? Asked Fu Heian. After Shi Jin left the hospital, she received a call from Fu Xiuyuan. I'm waiting for you at the street corner. Shi Jin looked up to see Fu Xiuyuan's low-profile yet luxurious Bentley parked on the street corner. She had urged Fu Xiuyuan not to divulge her true identity until Fu Heian's hands had recovered completely. From the looks of it, Fu Xiuyuan had remembered what she said. Shi Jin's lips curved into a smile as she walked towards his car, and quickly got into it. Fu Xiuyuan was dressed in a suit with a tie worn snugly under his collar. His gorgeous face gave off an imposing and lofty aura. And his innate quality made him look even more lofty and proud. He seemed out of this world and simply seductive. Chapter 85. Legal Husband and Wife. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 85. Legal Husband and Wife. Fu Xiuyuan put down his proud airs with Shi Jin around and his expression became usually gentle. Shi Jin could not help looking at him. Everyone appreciated beauty, and even Shi Jin had no immunity to Fu Xiuyuan's good looks. Xiuyuan, does your older sister keep introducing women to you? Asked Shi Jin right away. Never. Fu Xiuyuan frowned. What did she say? Nothing much. I just think you are so good looking that people must be introducing potential girlfriends to you all the time. Fu Xiuyuan narrowed his eyes before he said huskily, Mrs. Fu, have you forgotten we are already married? Shi Jin laughed quietly. Aha. She and Fu Xiuyuan were already married. What was the point of introducing women to him? Ever since she was reborn, she had a cold and distant attitude towards outsiders. She was only bright and lively in front of Fu Xiuyuan and would even say sweet nothings to him. Shi Jin embraced Fu Xiuyuan when he raised his brows. How could I forget? We are legally married, so no one else can get in between us. Fu Xiuyuan looked at his woman gently as she appeased him. It was easy to see his mood. Since Shi Jin could tell he was not angry anymore, she asked, Where are we going? We are going home. His husky voice sounded a little electric and was particularly seductive. Shi Jin hugged him and sat down. However, after driving for a while, she realized they were not heading back to Repulse Bay Villa. Xiuyuan, where are we going? Do you plan on selling me off? Shi Jin looked out the window. Fu Xiuyuan laughed gently out loud. It sounded deep and gentle as it came from his chest and sounded indulgent. The car pulled up outside of a villa. Jean raised her head after getting out of the car and saw that it was even larger and more luxurious than Repulse Bay Villa. Go take a look. Fu Xiuyuan held her hand as they entered the villa. There was intricate design everywhere, and even the diamonds on the crystal chandeliers were real. Everything in the house was the best and came at exorbitant prices. Jean was not interested in the posh interior. Instead, she preferred Repulse Bay Villa. Fu Xiuyuan brought her to the backyard. For as far as the eye could see, there were no plants. However, the earth had already been loosened and it gave off a distinct fragrance. It was just waiting to get cultivated. Jean finally looked interested. She ran over and picked up the soil. It was perfect for cultivating the Yao orchid and other herbs she needed. She did not even bat an eye at the astronomically priced objects. Instead, she smiled when she saw the soil. Fu Xiuyuan noticed it all. He just knew he made the right choice to buy this villa. He was also spot on about the soil in the compound. His woman did not like material things, all she cared about was him. Are we staying here from now on? Asked Jean happily. Do you like it? Asked Fu Xiuyuan with his eyes lowered. Chapter 86. Guest performers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 86. Guest performers. Jean nodded hard. She genuinely liked this compound, especially the earth. Then I will go back and move my Yao orchid over. Also, she had to move over some other herbs she had cultivated after she was reborn. Since it was hard to find the right soil for them, she had been growing them in pots and was only able to cultivate a small number of them. I have already sent for them. Fu Xiuyuan pointed. Song Fan and a few workers were in the middle of taking care of Jin's plants. Watch out. Don't damage them. You can't even put a scratch on them. Song Fan was holding a shovel as he instructed the workers who were moving the pots around. In reality, these people were as good as botanists. One of them even asked quizzically, Mr. Song, these new plants we are planting only cost a fraction of the price of those plants that we have just dug out. How could we destroy those plants for these? Those people looked at the astronomically priced plants and trees they had just removed and could not help exclaiming in shock. Those plants combined cost as much as this villa. Why did Song Fan tell them to replace them with these cheap plants? One of them was a plant with its flowers snipped off, the other was some unrecognizable orchid and there was some unknown weed. They seemed to have been dug out from the countryside or something, but Song Fan moved them over like they were very important. Just do what I tell you, ordered Song Fan. He did not know what these plans were either. Jean was probably the only person who did. If Fu Xiuyuan wanted to indulge her, he could even raise this villa to the ground, so removing some expensive plans was nothing. Jean saw them working, so she retrieved a handful of seeds from her pocket and said, Can you help me plant these as well? After Song Fan took the seeds, the workers glanced and noticed they were mint seeds. Mint only cost $5 a pot out there and you could get a discount if they were purchased in bulk. The rich people must have nothing better to do. Since all the plants would get moved over, Jean and Fu Xiuyuan moved over as well. It happened that Repulse Bay Villa was full of sad memories for them, so a change of environment was good. Butler Chen came over with the servants and maids, so other than a change in the surrounding, everything went on as per normal. Ultimate Singer, Songwriter had already moved on to the next stage. There were 22 contestants left and 11 contestants would get eliminated. There were no second chances or challenges and the ones who did not make the cut would get kicked off the show right away. The competition was intense. This time, the production team invited guests to perform with the contestants. We have invited 22 guests today. All of them are very well-known singers, introduced the host. Jean raised her head for a look. Sure enough, most of the guests were renowned singers and idols. A small number of them were veteran singers with a low profile who had not performed in a long time. The program was certainly generous. These guests will choose who they want to work with and perform with you to help you advance, introduced the host. However, the contestants do not get a voting right and the choice lies in the guests alone. This meant the contestants had to prove themselves and convince the guests to select them. Chapter 87. Rejection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 87. Rejection. Most of the contestants wanted to pick idols or the more famous singers with great vocals. That way, it would make the performance better and help them advance. Veteran singers with a low profile were second choice. The guests had their concerns as well. They were not here for charity. Since they wanted to improve their popularity, they wanted to pick the most popular or well-known contestant. Yu Guannan called Shen Qi and Shi Jin to the side and said, "Little flag, little stone, I know some of these guest performers, so I will introduce you later. It is down to you to convince them to select you." Since Shen Qi and Shi Jin were Yu Guannan's most important contestants, he naturally hoped they could last long on the program. First, he introduced one of the guests to Shen Qi before he introduced one to Shi Jin. The moment Shi Jin saw the guest in question, she instantly knew why Yu Guannan picked him. Xia Peifeng was an up-and-coming male singer and was extremely talented. He was a top-notch singer-songwriter. Since he liked fizzy drinks, he was often photographed with Coca-Cola or other sodas, so people called him the Prince of Soda. However, even though he adored unhealthy drinks, they did not affect his appearance. He remained slim and handsome. Also, it did not have a negative effect on his vocals. Every time he performed, people screamed excitedly. Yu Guannan felt his songs and vocals were the same as Shi Jin's, so he wanted Xia Peifeng to collaborate with her. "Hi, Peifeng," greeted Yu Guannan. "Hi, Mr. Yu." Xia Peifeng smiled and bowed respectfully when he saw Yu Guannan coming over. He reached his hand out and handed Yu Guannan a bottle of Sprite. "Long time no see. How are you?" "I'm fine, thank you." Yu Guannan took the Sprite and said, "Allow me to introduce you to my contestant. Little Stone, come over." The moment Xia Peifeng glanced at Shi Jin, his eyes turned cold, but he continued smiling. Shi Jin promptly detected his unwillingness to work with her. Sure enough, the moment Yu Guannan was done introducing her, Xia Peifeng said, "In theory, I should do you the favor of collaborating with her since you asked, but I have already selected Wen Yongwei." Xia Peifeng and Chu Ling were on good terms and he was acquainted with Deng Yufei. He saw great potential in Deng Yufei's songwriting skills, but they did not have the chance to hang out more. He had joined the program as a guest performer to help Deng Yufei. However, he realized that Deng Yufei was eliminated from the program when he finally made time by turning down a lot of projects. Also, the person who had gotten Deng Yufei kicked out was Shi Jin. Xia Peifeng nearly lost it and wanted to break his agreement and refused to appear on the program. He only showed up after his talent agent kept convincing him. So he naturally did not like Shi Jin. Shi Jin already saw this coming and said, "It is okay." Xia Peifeng sneered. So what if she was well connected? Deng Yufei kept speaking ill of Shi Jin every time she met Xia Peifeng, so he naturally disliked her. The moment Yu Guannan heard Xia Peifeng had made up his mind, he did not force him. He simply shook his head and said, "That's too bad." Chapter 88. Another rejection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 88. Another rejection. Shi Jin felt even though Deng Yufei had already gotten eliminated from the program, everyone still remembered her. Sure enough, she had worked hard leaving a good impression. However, this would not last long. Since Yu Guannan was not in the position to force Xia Peifeng to pick Shi Jin, he headed towards Chao Hui. Chao Hui was a great artist and had good vocals, so she and Shi Jin could have real chemistry. Yu Guannan had helped Chao Hui when she first joined the entertainment industry, so she was particularly respectful to him. "Hello, Mr. Yu. After catching up with Yu Guannan, she even gave him some local products from her hometown. Mr. Yu, I wanted to visit you tonight. I ended up bumping into you ahead of time. You must accept this small gift from me. She was respectful to a fault. However, she seemed to be in a dilemma the moment Yu Guannan suggested she work with Shi Jin. Mr. Yu, I have already selected my contestant. Ever since she made a name for herself, she cared a lot about her reputation. Shi Jin had a terrible reputation. She heard Shi Jin kept making trouble and even plagiarized music. Just the thought of this annoyed her. After Chao Hui was invited to appear on the program, she added a clause to her contract indicating she would not work with Shi Jin. She was not in the position to break her contract. Yu Guannan did not force her to do otherwise. Xia Peifeng had already walked up to Wen Yonwei. Most of the other guests had surrounded Wen Yonwei. Shi Jin was not the only contestant who was unpopular. Little Rose has come in first throughout the program, so people naturally want to work with her, said a contestant softly. If it were me, I would pick Little Rose too. She is a great songwriter with steady vocals. She never makes trouble and has a righteous personality. Also, I secretly looked at her face previously and she is very pretty. She wasn't even wearing makeup when I saw her, said a contestant with his voice suppressed. Wow! I am so envious. I am sure she will get the best resources in the future. No wonder all the guest performers wanted to choose her. Yu Guannan comforted Shi Jin, no matter what, the program has to assign a guest performer for you. I get it. Shi Jin nodded. It was just that the guest performers who had to pick her would be equally unpopular. However, she did not mind. Instead, Yu Guannan felt sorry for her. Considering Shi Jin's great talent, it would be such a pity if she could not make it to the end of the program. On the whole, she was almost as good as Wen Yonwei, but she was plagued by scandal, so none of the guests wanted anything to do with her out of fear that she might pull the same stunt she did on Chu Ling. When Yonwei finally decided on the guest performer she would like to collaborate with 30 minutes later. It was none other than Xia Peifeng. She bowed as she thanked the other guests for taking an interest in her. Thank you for your vote of faith. I hope we have the chance to work in the future. Everyone felt she was very well brought up and polite. Then those guest performers who did not get selected went to pick from the pool of remaining contestants. No one asked about Shi Jin. After almost all the guests were done picking contestants, only Shi Jin and an unpopular singer were left. The two of them made eye contact before walking towards each other. Hi, Miss Yi, greeted Shi Jin. Yi Peiwen was a veteran female singer. She had written a lot of famous songs and was very popular 20 years ago, but she ended up disappearing from the limelight. Since artists and idols kept entering the entertainment industry and there was huge competition, she was unknown to the younger audience. Chapter 89. Love Talent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 89. Love Talent. Yi Peiwen felt happy when Shi Jin could recognize her. Why don't we work together? Yu Guannan checked out Shi Jin's situation. Shi Jin was considered lucky to perform with Yi Peiwen. She was far better than an idol singer. However, Yi Peiwen might not be able to catch up with Shi Jin given her physical condition, so he was a little worried. Shi Jin smiled as she reached her hand out. Miss Yi, I look forward to working with you. She handed the songs she had written for the performance to Yi Peiwen. Even though Yi Peiwen had not performed in years, she was still an artist. After glancing at the song, she could not help inhaling in surprise. Did you write this? Yes, I did, Doviko. I don't mean to be rude, said Yi Peiwen hurriedly. I am just shocked by how good it is. Thanks. Since no one picked Shi Jin, Yi Peiwen thought she had no talent, but the moment she saw Shi Jin's song, her opinion changed. Let's go over and practice. She immediately wanted to work on the song. Shi Jin went over with her. She had to admit that Yi Peiwen had great vocals. After trying a few times, Yi Peiwen proved her prowess by singing the song perfectly. In Shi Jin's opinion, she had missed a few high notes and her vocals were not as good as before. Even then, Yi Peiwen was a whole lot better than the young singers out there. Yi Peiwen was shocked to find Shi Jin had great vocals when they practiced together. From the looks of it, the things on the internet about Shi Jin were lies. Ever since the internet became easily accessible, the paparazzi became even worse. Yi Peiwen could not help feeling moved by her talent and gave her a few pointers. It was a big help to Shi Jin. Shi Jin voluntarily made conversation when they were having a break. Your songs are great. I used to listen to them a lot, but you stopped releasing new music. Also, you haven't seen me appear on any programs either, right? Yi Peiwen shook her head and laughed. That's true. Ever since I gave birth to my child, I caught a case of rhinitis. 1. Rhinitis is also called a stuffy nose, and can be chronic. I never fully recovered, so it acts up every now and then. Even though my performance might seem good today, I honestly have not performed so well in a long time. She said worriedly, if I did not have a child to raise and school fees to pay, I would not have taken the job. Little Stone, I will do my best to stay in tip-top condition, but if there are any problems with my singing, you have to help me. Shi Jin nodded and smiled. Sure thing. She could already detect how nasally Yi Peiwen sounded when she spoke. For the sake of meeting her fans' expectations, Yi Peiwen refused to make a comeback. This time, she only appeared on the program to make a living. Strictly speaking, even though the rhinitis had affected her singing, it did not turn out bad. Yi Peiwen was just too demanding of herself. The old-time artists tended to be this way and had more pride and social responsibility. After chatting briefly, they continued to practice the song. Everyone felt envious of the other contestants who got the team up with the best guest performers. When Yongwei had selected the most popular guest performer of the lot, Xia Peifeng, Shen Qi also did well and picked a popular male idol. Meng Xiaoheng and Hua Xian also selected popular singers with great vocals. Even Gu Qinghua's guest performer had just become a hit last year after joining a singing program. Chapter 90. It was clear what they were implying. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 90. It was clear what they were implying. After doing some practice, a lot of contestants went over to the veteran artists whom they recognized with their autograph books asking for autographs when it was break time. However, no one asked Yi Peiwen for her autograph. Every now and then, someone asked quizzically, who is she? Yi Peiwen smiled in self-ridicule. Sure enough, she was forgotten after not singing in over 20 years. She is Yi Peiwen. Loving You is Torture was one of her best works and used to be very popular. Ha! Did she sing that song? I can't recognize her anymore. I think she is a perfect match for Little Stone. Even though no one explained why Yi Peiwen and Shi Jin were perfect for each other, it was clear what they were implying. When Yongwei also looked over when she heard what they said. However, she seemed calm and it was impossible to figure out how she felt about the conversation, so it was unclear whether she agreed. I saw the challenges you went through in the last episode. You were extraordinary. Yi Peiwen looked at Shi Jin perplexedly. Why do they treat you like this even though you performed well? Shi Jin smiled. Then did you check out my gossip? Yi Peiwen smiled and instantly caught her drift. Most of the contestants and employees were on Chu Ling's side. In the entertainment industry, popularity meant power. People would pick a gorgeous man over an ugly woman any day. Yi Peiwen could empathize with their reaction now. Now Yi Peiwen was determined to perform well with Shi Jin and kick the other contestants out of the program. Shi Jin went out for a moment and came back with a leaf and handed it to Yi Peiwen. Sniff on this when you can. It will help with your rhinitis. Yi Peiwen smiled in surprise. Was this not mint? All these years, she had seen a lot of doctors and tried all sorts of medication, so she had already tried using mint, but it was useless. Despite all the doctors she had seen, her rhinitis acted up every now and then and did not improve. However, since Jean was just trying to be nice, she took the mint and said, "Thank you." At night, Jean stopped practicing and bade farewell. After Yi Peiwen got back to her lunch, her nose started to feel stuffy. She retrieved her medication and sprayed it into her nose. Even though it was able to clear her nose briefly, it made her giddy. Although this medicine was good for rhinitis, there were a lot of side effects for her brain. After using it long-term, she could feel her memory become poor. She had no choice but to use it since she had taken an assignment. Yi Peiwen did not want to quit halfway and hold up Jean. She sat down and rested briefly and did some vocal exercises before her nose became stuffy again. It was so stuffy that her head kept ringing. It was so awful that she simply had to sit down and rest. After placing the medicine back into her purse, she suddenly felt a cool leaf in her purse. She recalled the mint Jean had given her. She placed it by her nose without a thought and inhaled deeply. Her nose unexpectedly got unclogged and her head cleared up as well. Yi Peiwen scrutinized the leaf and confirmed it was genuinely mint. She had used it previously, but it was not as effective. She smelled it again and detected the faint scent of Chinese herbs along with mint. The smell of Chinese herbs made her feel good. Yi Peiwen managed to sleep peacefully all night, and after she woke up, she felt energetic. She looked at the mirror and noticed that the pallor was gone and she seemed a lot more youthful.